Hello, Gap Nation, and welcome back to the Gap Zoom feed. I'm Marty Emino, along with Assistant Communications Directors Dan Schofield. On top of my screen, Dan, give a wave, and Tony Regina. We got a couple special guests today. We're going to delve into the world of college golf and how they've been dealing with this crisis. We got two special guests on the line. We got Brian Quinn, longtime golf coach at Temple University, and the proprietor of the 1912 Club, a Gap member. So we like Brian. Brian, give a wave. And below Brian, we have Jim Heller, longtime coach at Swarthmore College. He's a longtime member of Rolling Green. How long you been at Rolling Green, Jim?
About 40 years, I guess, huh?
So that's better than a longtime member. So guys, thanks for taking some time here today. And we'll start with you, Brian. Just, how are you doing during the crisis and how are things?
Doing well, thank you. Just staying in touch with all my kids. We do 2 Zoom calls a week, just staying in touch with them, making sure they're on top of their academics. Obviously, it's a totally different time, all their classes being online, trying to stay on top of them with all of that and with our academic advisors and everything. So we're just moving with the flow here, and things are going pretty well though overall.
How about you, Jim?
Same thing. All my students are online classes, and we do have a Zoom meeting every Friday night. We have it late because I got students from Singapore and California and everywhere else. So it's going pretty well. And in fact, we are starting to work on our fall schedule is actually complete now, and we're starting to look on the little things that we need to be successful. Since I have a very young squad coming in, I had 5 freshmen last year, and I'll bring in 4. So 70% of my squad are going to be underclassmen. So I'm trying to get the new era in.
Were you guys able to start the spring season at all?
In fact, we were down in Florida, right outside Orlando, on a 2-day tournament down there when everything broke. So we got our tournament in, which was good. We shot 301 the first day, and then the second day we goofed up a little bit and shot 320. But it showed some signs because, like I said, I had a very young squad. So.
And Brian, did you get any tournaments in?
Yeah, we played 2 events. Actually, both in South Carolina. Our second event that we played was down in Aiken at Palmetto Golf Club, which is a phenomenal facility. Dawson actually finished 5th against a really, really tough competition. He played great. But like Coach Heller, we have a very young team too, and seeing a lot of encouraging signs, a lot of growth, and for us in our program, all those kids now will be getting that year back. So in a way, this year has almost been like a practice year for them. We don't have any. We had 2 redshirt juniors, so both going to grad school next year, so they were coming back anyway. So we really don't have that senior turnover and then coming back for another year.
I got one more, and then I'll let the guys hop in here. Just how, and we'll start with you, Brian. How did the kids find out that the year was canceled? Did you have to tell them that, or was that a school responsibility?
I told them. Everything, all our, at Temple, all our athletics, were pretty busy at that time. We were actually just getting ready to get on a flight like the next day to go to our next event. And, we kind of, when we were in Aiken, we were really kind of hearing some strong wording that things could be getting shut down. So we were prepared, and we had prepared the kids. I will say Temple did just a phenomenal job of getting the correct information out there as quickly as possible, and our athletic director did a tremendous job with all of our student athletes.
How about you, Jim? How'd the kids take it? How'd they hear about it?
Likewise, but like I said, we were all together down in Florida, outside Orlando, and our athletic director stayed in communication with myself, and I more or less called a team meeting about 10 o'clock at night before the school was going to release it to everybody, and we sat down and told them what was going on, and my biggest problem was how to get these guys home, because they were all half my team were Washington State, California, so they actually went home right from Florida rather than come back to the college. I had only half the team come back from the college because I had a party of 12 people in our party.
Wow.
So half of them flew back their home, and half of them flew back. In
So
fact,
they took their golf clubs and put it on the plane and went home.
went home. Yeah.
Wow.
Swarthmore's biggest problem is right now they have approximately 100 students still on campus, probably like Temple too, that they had to put up because they can't, the international students, they can't get back into the countries.
Wow. Tony, Dan, hop in.
Yeah, so both of you mentioned that interaction with the team takes place via Zoom calls each week. Beyond a conference via Zoom with the players, what other sort of interactions or engagements are you having with the team members throughout the week? Is it strictly the Zoom meetings that you're able to do at this time?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm texting with my kids daily. My present players, my past players, I text with them all the time. But I'm virtually speaking to my players, all my players, my current players every day, just checking in with them. We have one in North Carolina. He's actually able to play golf, Graham. I have Danny Nguyen, who is in Vietnam. He flew home, and there was a woman on the flight that had the coronavirus, and he got immediately quarantined for 21 days.
Oh.
And,
Wow.
and he sent me pictures of where he was. It was not pretty. Now he's out of that quarantine. He's back at home. They're completely shut down. But just like Coach Heller was saying, we have, kids from all over. Our Zoom calls are at 9 o'clock at night because Dano was waking up at 9 in the morning, or, he woke up at 9 o'clock right on our Zoom call last night, actually. So, but overall, it's been that the communication aspect with, today's day and age with texting, FaceTime, things like that, I can check on my kids. So at least I feel blessed to be able to stay in contact with them as easy as we can now.
You, Coach Heller, beyond the weekly Zoom conference that you're able to have, what other means of engagement do you have with your players throughout the week?
Well, same thing with I text them. In fact, my captain called him almost daily to keep us informed. We also they have contact with the traders and physical ed people that gave them exercise to do in addition to their online courses. So that the school is doing a great job as far as communications. If we find that there is a problem, we turn the name in, and they have other people following up on that aspect of their life.
How difficult was it emotionally for the two of you as coaches to lose the spring season altogether? Starting with you, Coach Heller, how difficult was that for you emotionally to have the season scrapped?
Well, it's tough because, like I said, I had a young squad, and we were starting to make some progress. The only good thing is, like college golf, we had half our season completed in the fall, and then we were starting to peak, and then all of a sudden the rug was pulled out from under us. So the unknown for the first 2 weeks, because they decided to go on online courses shortly thereafter. So and then with everybody being scattered around, some of the like Brian said, some of the guys were able to still play golf when they got home, but then within a week or so, everything was shut down.
How about you, Coach Quinn? How difficult has this been emotionally, knowing that this season altogether, the spring season, was scrapped?
Obviously it's disappointing. But I think, with my kids and my program, we in life, we're going to have major bumps in the road, right? And I think that, there's a lot worse going on in the world right now than us completing our season. It was incredibly disappointing, certainly for Dawson, who was really starting to play really great golf and has worked so hard, and all my kids have worked so hard. So you like to see kind of the fruits of your labor, right, and see the progress. But in the scheme of life, we've all had trials and tribulations, and I think this is just going to toughen them, going forward, whether it's in golf or in life. And I think my kids have done a great job adapting, how quickly this happened and how drastic it was.
Now, something that goes hand in hand with all college sports is the world of recruiting. So let's just talk a bit about that. What challenges are you guys facing now, or what changes are you feeling you have to adapt to?
Coach, you want to take that first?
Okay, I'll take that one. I was fortunate because I just completed my recruiting for next year. So I had that all squared away. I got four recruits coming in and possibly another one. So I actually just started my class of 2025, which is the junior class of 2021 graduating class. So I just more or less cut my list down and started communication. In fact, I spent all day on Tuesday answering emails from that class because I was putting them on hold until I saw what I had. So they've been I had made contact with 25 recruits for 2021, the class of 2021, and actually heard back from 90% of them. Because I actually have a problem. I more or less had to recruit backwards because Swarthmore is rated in top 5 in the nation academically. So if the student doesn't have 3.8, 3.9 with the test scores are over 1450, 1500, then even though they're great golfers, I didn't have to tell them they better look at the program. Now, a big thing that just happened at the school, and I don't know if Temple did this or they might be doing it, Swarthmore did away with the SATs and ACT for the next 2 years. So the kid because all the testing is being shut down for May and June and everything. So that they figured a lot of schools are decided to either go 1 year. Swarthmore went 2, and some people are going 3 years. So they don't have to worry about taking the SAT and ACT, which is a big relief for some of them.
Yeah.
Big time. And you, Brian?
I have one 2020 coming in this upcoming year. Joey Morgani, a local player from our area.
Lanark kid.
Yeah,
Love Lanark.
Yeah, great. He's going to be a very powerful kid, very talented. Excited to watch him grow. I think the challenge is actually going to be going forward, the 2021s for us, because I think with everyone kind of staying stagnant, my freshmen are going to be basically eligibility-wise going to be freshmen again, sophomores again, juniors again. We all have roster sizes. We have financial obligations that we have within our universities. So I think with the 2021 class, it will impact my recruiting to a degree. I am fortunate and was set up in the way I kind of have always done my program, being in the Northeast. my goal is to have a really solid team 2 out of the 4 years that, your best players are there from a recruiting standpoint, because you still have to develop those kids to become potentially as good as they possibly can. So we are young, and that will help the program. But if before this all happened, 2021, I probably would have been taking 2 to 3 kids. I might just take maybe 1 to 2. So it is definitely going to tighten the belt a little bit for us.
They gave the NCAA gave golf then the waiver, Brian, because those kids only got half a season in.
They did. They got the
Okay.
waiver. All spring sports. So we're considered a spring sport because our championship season is in the spring.
Oh, okay.
So we're a spring sport. That's probably a discussion for another day. The end.
Yeah.
I just think that, quite honestly, going back to what I said previously, as horrible as this whole situation is, as devastating as it has been to our seniors. My son's a senior in high school, so it's been a huge impact on him and baseball and all these different things going forward. But I think, we all have to realize that not everything goes 100% our way. And I think the NCAA, right when this first happened, in my personal opinion, jumped the gun a little bit and said, oh, no, all the kids can come back and have another year. And I think what wasn't thought through is the economics of it. And
Right.
really the stunting of the recruiting growth, not only for golf, but for every Olympic sport that's out there. Football and basketball really, if they start when they're supposed to start, they're really unaffected by this. But all the spring sports, and certainly all of our Olympic sports, baseball, golf, all those sports in the spring, they're really, really affected by this. So that 2021 recruiting class, 2022 recruiting class, because you're having people stay there, you have your program set up. Okay, I have 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 3 juniors, and 2 seniors. Who's coming and going. Now everyone's kind of running in place for a year. And I think this is going to have a lot more long-term effect, not only from a psychological standpoint on sophomore, juniors in high school, but also an economical impact with the NCAA and all of college athletics, because this is going to put a ton of stress financially on them.
Jim, are your kids able to repeat the year if they want to?
They can repeat it, but it won't happen because we don't have a master program. So all my 3 people are online to graduate, and so you won't see a repeat. The only thing we might have is maybe somebody trying to transfer in that we'll have somebody come in, but I don't see that it's going to be any impact on our program.
From a coach perspective, are you guys still coaching? Are your players practicing, training, whether it be outside or inside?
So my kids are constantly sending me videos and things like that with their swings. Dawson's sending me swings from his driveway, hitting into a net. The McGraths are chipping in their backyard, working on his wedges and different things like that. So yeah, we are staying in contact. The one thing, as Jim said, with his program, our program has done a great job. Tim Teefee, who is our Olympic trainer for all our Olympic sports, has done an amazing job sending out the workouts every day at 5:45 in the morning. So the kids are still doing all their programs that they need to before school starts and all of that. So they've done a really good job of keeping in touch with our student athletes. And trying to make them feel as connected as possible.
Coach Heller, what about your team?
Yeah, my team, my parents aren't too happy because a lot of my students are cutting down the back lawn, making putting areas and chipping areas, but they're all being active and doing something. A couple of my people send me videos of them taking the lawnmower and cutting it down and then getting the scissors out. But they are trying to keep golf in their curriculum along with their studies and their mental state.
Yeah, crazy times. Yeah, well, hopefully. Go ahead, John.
No, just one more for me, and I imagine the answer is going to be the same for both of you, but I'll ask anyway. What's next? I'm guessing it's just stay on standby until you hear from your respective athletic directors in terms of how you can proceed with your teams. Everything's on standby right now?
Yeah, as far as they informed us that just put everything on hold, but sometimes they don't understand that you just can't put it on hold because, especially with golf, you have to try to get into the better tournaments you can. So you have to sign up, but then you just tell the tournaments that we're on hold. And as far as entry fees, that kind of stuff, you just have to tell them we can't do anything until we get the release the money and all. So, but I actually have my fall schedule set up. All the tournaments came back, and if things go well, then we'll have our fall schedule.
Yeah, I think going to that, we are on hold at Temple. As we've said, we can stay in touch, via Zoom, texting, and FaceTiming and all that. We are on hold. We have talked about the schedule. Our schedule is pretty aggressive at Temple. I know we're going to California, Florida twice, South Carolina, Georgia. That's just in the fall of next year. Back and look at what kind of travel restrictions and things that might be put upon us as a university. But I do want to say to you guys at Gap, really, first of all, you guys have done an amazing with what you did all last week with the with McDermott and
Yeah,
Oliver
decades,
and,
yeah.
and Chris Crawford, bravo, Chris Crawford. I think you guys have done a tremendous job. But the most important job you guys do is you give our kids and all kids a platform to play at just extremely great golf courses, impeccably run events. You do a PGA Tour event, and I think we all are looking forward to seeing you guys having the opportunity to host, not only our kids, but Drexel and St. Joe's and Villanova and all our great players that we have within all of our universities, soon. And I can't thank you guys enough for what you've done for college golf. Giving these kids the notoriety, the platform to get their names out there, to give them the opportunity to succeed at the highest level. Looking at someone like Brandon yesterday that you had on is a perfect example, and he's just one of many. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, hopefully we're able to stage that platform at some point this summer.
Yeah, we're hopeful. We're hopeful.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed is right.
Well, guys, thanks for taking a couple minutes this morning to talk us through the trials and tribulations we're all going through, and you guys having you get the extended family times 2, right? 12, 13, 14 kids on each team. So the best of luck to both of you. Hopefully we'll talk when times are better. We'll see you on the golf course soon enough. For Marty Emino, Tony Regina, and Dan Schofield, thanks for tuning into the Gap Zoom channel, and we'll see you next time. Coming up, we're going to have on Monday Vince Cavello, PGA Tour member. So that should be exciting and fun. So until then, everybody be safe and be well.